Good morning, Scott and Richard. We're at Highway 58 and Park Hill Road, where you can see sheriff's deputies still have it blocked off. A CAL FIRE vehicle just leaving the area this morning. We've also seen a couple of water tenders coming down just minutes ago, so they're refilling this morning before heading back up to the line. This race for sheriff is one of the most closely watched races this election cycle. Incident commander said yesterday it could easily take weeks to contain this fire because of the rugged terrain. Tonight is really about honoring the lives that were lost a year ago, recommitting to finding Jack and Lydia, and it's a time for healing for the South Coast. And I have to tell you, the most beautiful, perfect rainbow was arcing right over Manning Park just about an hour ago, and the sky is gorgeous right now. So there's really a special feeling in Mother Nature tonight as this community comes together to heal. You can look behind me, you can see the root structure, and the stump of that tree is on fire this morning. But if you look all the way up the tree, you can see there are flames right at the very top. So that entire tree trunk is on fire right now. We are a very safe distance away from this tree because it could fall at any time. This is one of the biggest dangers that firefighters face out there on the lines as they continue to try to establish containment. That is at just 5% right now on this Whittier fire. Now, just on the other side of the hill is the outdoor school, which has faced some of the worst devastation by the Whittier fire. Richard, it is phenomenal here in Morro Bay. This stack of toys and food has gotten even bigger since the last time that I talked with you. You could definitely smell the smoke this morning as we drove in on the 58. And some of the kids got to meet Wrigley today at their schools in South County, where Scott was teaching them about fire safety. I was up in North County. I want to show you what I was doing up there earlier today. You can probably tell it's very hazy, smoky out here, poor air quality for sure. And Scott, you sent me with your lottery ticket. I checked your numbers. By the way, those winning numbers were 5, 28, 62, 65, 70, and Mega Ball 5. Unfortunately, Scott, you are not our lucky winner, but someone in San Luis Obispo is. It was a story of fire, then floods that forever changed the landscape and character of Montecito. A wildfire some 40 miles away near Santa Paula began its march on December 4th, 2017. The Thomas Fire would go on to burn more than 281,000 acres, torching hills and homes across northern Ventura and southern Santa Barbara counties. By December 16th, flames made their way into the backcountry of Montecito. Containment of the Thomas Fire wouldn't come until 3 days after the South Coast's greatest tragedy. The hot, dry, and long 2017 fire season was suddenly punctuated by an incoming storm expected in the second week of 2018. Local emergency officials knew the impending January storm could have significant impacts on Montecito. Friday, January 5th, emergency managers urged Montecito residents to spend the weekend preparing to evacuate before the storm arrived early the next week.
So are you aware of the mandatory evacuations?
Yeah. What seems like a dry creek most of the year will now could become a raging river of mud and rocks and tree and debris that's come down from the burn areas.
Get out of here! Go! Oh my God, Mom!
It was 3:30 in the morning, Tuesday, January 9th, when the skies opened up. The National Weather Service says within 5 minutes, over a half-inch of rain poured onto the unstable hillsides above Montecito.
We had 4 feet of mud raging through counter high through my house.
Within 20 minutes, water, mud, trees, rocks, and boulders from the fire-scorched Santa Ynez Mountains came rushing down creeks and streams into Montecito.
It was just like in the middle of a river. You just see water just gushing down the hills. You didn't have nowhere to go. You were literally just stuck.
The sound of a freight train, basically, and the earth was sort of moving. That was about 3:45, and that was when the first water came down the creek.
The flood control district said the mud flow reached up to 25, even 30 feet high, racing down the canyons up to 35 miles per hour. People were also caught in the mud flow, swept down canyons and neighborhoods for miles. Some miraculously survived.
We dug down, found a little baby, and don't know where it came from. But we got it out, got the mud out of its mouth.
But many did not.
Hold on, hold on.
21 bodies were recovered in the hours, days, and weeks following the mudslides.
I'm so sorry.
Hayden Gower searched for his mother, Josie.
I should have just told her to leave.
His mother's body was recovered hours later.
You just don't even think that this was possible.
A year later, then 17-year-old Jack Canton and 2-year-old Lydia Sutatapa are still missing. First responders from across the state and nation poured into the South Coast to help Montecito dig out from the unfathomable destruction. A 30-mile stretch of Highway 101 between Santa Barbara and Ventura was shut down, covered in mud and debris. Drivers were rerouted for weeks. After a Herculean effort by Caltrans crews, Highway 101 was clear of mud and reopened on January 21st. Meanwhile, the town of Montecito was just beginning the harrowing recovery process. As grieving continued, local leaders looked back at the sequence of events, searching for ways to better prepare the community if such a disaster were to occur again. Santa Barbara County Office of Emergency Services and local law enforcement developed new evacuation plans and urged everyone to sign up for emergency alerts through awareandprepare.org. 1 year later, cleanup is ongoing. Despite it all, this community has never given up, now honoring the ones they lost and committing to rebuilding their quaint town that no matter what will always be home. And as you can see, the procession is happening behind me. People are making their way up onto San Ysidro Road, walking about a mile down to All Saints by the Sea Church, where that bell ringing